What does SBI Card made of RBI's announcements today? Who better than Hardyal Prasad, the MD and CEO at SBI Cards, joining us on the show right now. Mr. Prasad, good afternoon. Can you hear me clearly?
Yeah, good afternoon. I can hear you very clearly.
Very well. Just wanted to understand, what is it that you've made of the moratorium extension by another 3 months as part of RBI's announcements today, and how does that impact life for you?
I think the moratorium, obviously, Reserve Bank of India has announced the moratorium, keeping in view the overall scenario of the economy and the hardships that are being faced by the common man. However, actually, as far as SBI Card was concerned, we have almost about 85% of the customers who are actually salaried customers, many of them from the government and also as well as on the category A, which is the the blue chip and the top rated companies. So most of them would not have lost their jobs. So in terms of the moratorium, we are reviewing the overall circular. We are waiting for the detailed guidelines and some clarifications that are required to extend it to the existing ones or to the new ones as well. What do you do with the EMI interest and all those things? I think we are going to take a measured view maybe in a day after we receive the instructions, detailed instructions from Reserve Bank of India.
Sure. Wanted to understand, now that we've seen this extended lockdown play out, Mr. Prasad, what has been your own observation of how credit card spends have been? Because, while our spending may be concentrated, our spending is definitely 1/3 of what we did pre-COVID. What are the kind of trends that you're picking up? Which are the segments where people are spending more or less as opposed to pre-COVID as well as now post-COVID situation?
Actually, you are right. The spends had come down to almost 1/3 of what it was happening earlier, and they were down significantly in April. However, lately we have seen in the May, if you look at the last numbers of the last about 10 days, they have improved significantly actually, and they are at almost 70% of the daily spend that one was looking at it. The changes that have come in is mostly on the online spends that is coming up. There's a significant uptick that you are seeing on the utility bills payment. A lot of people migrating to the utility bill payment. You're seeing huge activity on the online education. I think that's one thing, people, because they're not able to travel, they're not able to take their children on vacation. A lot of people as well as the children are spending money on skill upgradation. That's a category that is coming up significantly. Retail, actually, if you really look at it on the retail side, the grocery and the departmental store, grocery is already doing very well. I think these are some of the categories that we are looking at it. And there are many new categories that are going to come up as we move forward, because in the new normal, all of us understand that there's going to be a new normal. And the new norm will actually give us opportunity to work differently. We are already looking at a lot of insurance product being sold online, which was not there earlier. I think I am looking at it from the perspective that there is a significant amount of cash that will be converted into digital payments. And credit card being a little evolved product, it's going to get benefit out of these kind of payments that will start taking place.
Mr. Prasad, good afternoon. What is the outlook then in terms of your, how you see your overall provisions shaping up in terms of your overall guidance as well going forward? It is a fairly challenging time, as we started off talking with as well. So how do you see the overall sector being impacted, and any sort of outlook as to what we could expect on your financials?
Good afternoon. What we have done is, because we are an NBFC and we are on Ind AS, so we have come out with the provisions based on the accounting standards that we maintain. The provision that, especially the very conservative provisions that we have made, do not speak exactly about any inherent risk that is sitting in the portfolio. It's a prudent way of ensuring that there has to be certain way based on the scenario that one would look at, the impact of COVID, the deepening of the COVID, when the opening will start. So we have built those scenario, and based on the ECL and other formats, we decided to go in for a very, very conservative provision. What we are looking at it we are already seeing it, with the aviation opening up on 25th. I think we are looking at it that probably the business could start normally from October. We are already at 70% of the spends that are there, and almost 60% of India is under lockdown. There are new categories coming up, people are moving cash, and we feel that probably by September, October, things should start happening. Not all activities will come, but new activities will start happening. And credit card industry should benefit because of what all is happening in terms of the way you make payment to a merchant. You don't want cash to be returned to you. You don't want contact with anyone. So contactless cards are going to move up. Payments are going to move up. The card on a phone is going to help significantly. When we provide a card on the phone which is fully functional, you can make online, you can make through NFC, it's a host card emulation. So there are significant amount of opportunities sitting over there, and we feel that the habits and cultures that exist in India, people will start actually transacting after little bit of fears are over and the lockdown is removed. There is good opportunity sitting over there in the Indian market.
Absolutely, Mr. Prasad, and which is why I wanted to know how much of it will you be able to cherish or eat into, because post-COVID, everyone would want to be contactless and cashless, and this is where I think is the big opportunity for SBI cards. Also wanted to understand how many new cards have you been able to actually add in the lockdown period?
So for the last about 2 years, we have been issuing only contact. It started long back, but for last 2 years, we are not issuing even one contactless card, which is not a contactless card. So our penetration over there is more than about 75 to 80%. We are again looking at the card base, which is not contactless, and where people have been transacting frequently. And these are the cards. The moment the lockdown is completely lifted, and the postage will start, we will be able to deliver. We will immediately move to replacing these cards to a contactless card, because we have seen huge traction over there. Just to give you some numbers, the contactless was 2 years back was just 2%. In July 2019, it went up to 7%. It's now at 22% of the total POS transaction. I think there is significant amount of traction that is taking place, and people have realized that it is better to do a contactless transaction. And COVID provides that absolute amazing opportunity for anyone to actually use this technology to make payment. Exact payment can be made without a contact, without parting with your card. You can do it through the phone. Just keep the card, keep it in your hand. So that's one thing actually that is going to shape up and going to change the way we actually transact, and we do. And we are a transaction company.
Mr. Prasad, could you... Absolutely. Mr. Prasad, just wanted to understand if you could give me an exact number and quantify how many new cards have you managed to add during the 3-month lockdown?
The lockdown in April was complete, so there was no activity that took place. What we did was that we always, at any given point of time, we carry an inventory of accounts which are on the pipeline and they need to be, sanctioned. So any on the last day of a month, you would always have a carryover. In April, what we did was we cured many of these accounts, and there was significant amount. I would not be able to give you the exact numbers, but there were about accounts which we were able to cure. We were not able to actually visit them, but on the phone teleservices, we were able to actually cure these accounts and issue cards. And all these cards were sent on the phone. So if you have an Android phone, we would have sent you the card, and you can activate it through the green pin and start transacting. So that was something very significant that happened. In this month, if you look at the May, is actually looking out to be a good month despite the closure. This month, we have already done 1.5 times of what we did in April. And I think in April, in May, we will do almost twice the numbers of April. And if we can do this during the lockdown, I can actually very, very clearly, give you that comfort that in 2 months' time, not only would we try to get back the business that we were doing prior to that, but more importantly, there are very large number of populace who were shying away from a credit card, they would now like to own a credit card and make payment instead of making it paying through cash. I think that's one thing that we are looking at it, and we feel. And when I say that September and October, these are the 2 months where we will look at it. That this is the month where can we actually get back the business, and can we push our products also and help the economy grow in a significant way. At the end of the day, we are a function of the economy. The way the economy is going to behave, we will behave that way.
Okay, so you're clearly looking at a huge advantage then with, the chunk of payments now moving to digital. But, give us a sense, Mr. Prasad, as well as to what are some of the key challenges that your industry as well as company faces, and what you would like to hear from the Reserve Bank in order to alleviate some of that stress.
So one of the most important thing that is a very big challenge is actually the acquisition. The top of the funnel has to be always, having some accounts over there. So that's a very big challenge until the malls, the railway stations, the airports, and all opportunities not opened up. It may be very difficult for me to build on the numbers. We have 50% business that comes from the open market, and 50% of the business comes from the banca channel. I think banca channel will start functioning very quickly, with a lot of people coming back to the bank, to the offices. And once they are in offices, the analytics department can very easily work with them to find out that which accounts can be targeted. And the banca business should come back in a big way in the next few months. So that is one thing that is a challenge. What we have done is that we have converted this challenge into an opportunity by bringing in telecallers in a big way. There is a massive amount of telecalling push that is taking place. There is massive amount of business that is being done through the organic channels, the traffic that comes from the internet that is happening. One more thing, another biggest challenge is that because of the lockdown, our collection team is unable to move. And if the collection team cannot go, in India still there is big amount of collection that takes place when somebody visits your home and talks to you that, okay, this is your due, these are the problems that can come in terms of your score, in terms of raising new loans, and people understand and they repay instead of just calling it. So what we have done is this is a very big challenge. What we have done is that we have enhanced our functionalities on the SMS side. We have started sending voice blasters to the customers, telling them that what all they can do, what is the opportunity that they have. Sending emails, a very large number, 70 to 80% of our emails are verified emails, and then the calling has started. I think these are some of the things that are there. In terms of the way we are going to address what Reserve Bank of India has announced today, we definitely we are looking forward for the detailed instructions, and we will follow whatever instructions are there in terms of the extension that is required to be given, in terms of moratorium that is to be given, who can be given. So there are some questions that obviously we have in our minds and doubts, and we are looking at all these options and discuss it with Reserve Bank of India.
Sure. Mr. Prasad, just one final question. I know we've extended our appointment with you. What we're seeing globally is that there is a stark preference to UPI-linked payments or kind of payments as opposed to traditional credit cards. What's been your observation or the trend that you foresee during the lockdown and you think would carry post-COVID as well? Do you think UPI-linked payments would find preference as opposed to credit cards as well?
There are two different, as of now, the UPI is more for remittances purposes. It's again gaining ground because of the COVID, but it's still actually at the end of the day, the transaction amount are very small for UPI. UPI for making payment is normally people would like to actually load an e-wallet and then make the payment to a merchant as against paying directly through the UPI. I think that's where we have seen a huge traction. People are transferring money from the credit card to the e-wallet and then making the payment. UPI is a great instrument. There is no doubt about it. It's a game changer. We are also asking Reserve Bank of India to allow us to use UPI for those kind of payments. I think overall, I feel that the market is so huge that everything is going to coexist. UPI will exist, credit card because of its enhanced features. The biggest advantage of a credit card is that the reconciliation are very fast. The authorization is very good. If there is a chargeback that you want to raise because of a dispute, that's absolutely laid down, and there are no problems. People are very confident when you swipe a card on the POS machine, you know where the payment. In UPI, those are some of the things that still need to be built. The moment those are built, it's going to be a very a solid product, I would feel, in terms of the competition. However, India offers massive opportunity for every product.
Sure. Mr. Prasad, good to have you on the show and good chatting with you. You should come more often. It's really great insight that you could provide us today.
Thank you very much.